All right, so we made it pretty far. We know what props are now. Just to review, props like parameters to a function, and then at the time of use, like arguments when you pull in the data gets passed in to the function, and then React uses it and then creates the component. We also did some other stuff too, including back in our movie listings, we used the map method from JavaScript to basically create a new mapped array of movie listings with JSX. And so this is really the power of React, because React is really useful for creating elements dynamically. You can do this with JavaScript as well, but React does it better because it creates these HTML elements for you fast. And so what you get back is this array of HTML elements, and then React will take over and render each one out for you beautifully. And so if you think about it, this may have taken you a lot more jQuery code to write something like this, and using a framework like React, it just makes it really, really quick. Okay, so I am going to actually talk about the error down here. So this one says, failed prop type, you forgot to, or you provided a value to a prop in a form field without an onChange handler. This will render a read-only field. If the field should be mutable, use a default value. Otherwise, set either onChange or read-only. So that's correct. So basically what I have here is this search form component, and I have an input field here. And it says you don't have, you provided a value to a form without an onChange. So let's talk about that next. Essentially, this thing here doesn't do anything. We don't have anything, we can't search for any movies yet. This is all just fake data. And you'll notice I also don't have a submit button, right? If I click submit, usually in a form, it will go and search for movies or search for something or process the form, simply put. But I don't have it doing anything. So we need to fix that. So let's do that now. But in order to do something like that, what we need to do is essentially, we have to change up the way we create our function. I'm going to do that in a second, but I want to first show you how onChange works. So if you've ever used regular JavaScript, you know that there is a function event handler for every element that you have on the DOM. And so you can map each element to a function event, like the most common being, this jQuery click right here down. If you look over here, it says button container button on click, use this function event here, hidden box.show, right? And so if you look at it, this is with the ID syntax, and so there must be some box called hidden box with ID banner dash message. That's the same idea, same principle here. However, we're not using jQuery, we're using React, and React uses regular vanilla JavaScript, so we would want to use the onChange property, but this time what we want to do is we want to have change be uppercase, because this is called a synthetic event that React provides for you. And if you're more interested in what that means, you can check out React.js synthetic events. And I think this should pull this up. So here it'll kind of talk to you about all the different types that you have, as well as how to get the events. In fact, there it is on click right here. So that is exactly what I'm using. I'm actually using onChange. So let's take a look at that keyboard event. And I believe there it is, onChange form events. So this is what I'm referring to. So I'm going to create a function event handler and map it to my input. And I'm going to give it to the onChange property. So let's do that. So the first thing I want to do is just see that this works. So I'm just going to do the very basic pattern, which is after I start typing, I want to see what I type, and I can basically do that by getting at the event, and then I can look at the target and then the value. So the target would be this input, and then the value would be whatever is written here. So let's go now over to our app, and let's pay attention to our console. And I'm going to put in some stuff here, and you can already see, like, boom, I got some stuff here. So all right, so STAR. So I have STAR, and actually I am not seeing my input show any text. And so let's fix that. Let's take out this value, and let's go ahead and try this one more time. And I think the reason that this was failing, and that was probably the error, was because exactly what it was saying, you can't have value set to nothing. Let the person type something in there. And so basically at this point, by doing this, by having an onChange method, we're not having a value hard coded as like a nothing value. Instead, we're letting the form be sort of like a dynamic value instead. So the person can use the form again, and then essentially like whatever they type, that will get displayed here in the console. So cool. We know how to basically get the typed message at this point, but what do we do with it? That's kind of like the next question. So I'm going to save that for the next video.